Hey guys, this is Josh Fry. Welcome to my channel BG Games, where we explore different card interactions, gameplay, and mechanical uniquenesses in all kinds of games. Current kick is Vibes TCG. I will be streaming on Twitch every day at 6 a.m., except Sundays, because I like sleeping in, and also posting these on YouTube. Thanks for coming and hanging out. So let's jump right in. Run through the tutorial. I actually did a recording for this already, but I had my settings on my camera wrong, so I did not have good recording. I'll try to hit on all the same points I did then, but we'll just cruise through this real quick. Hello, my name is Baron Fishpockets, and I will be your guide on the Vibes tutorial. Before we start the game, let's play a game of rock, paper, scissors to determine who goes first. I've won every time I've played the tutorial, so I won again. Guys, comment below if it's possible to lose the rock, paper, scissors to the tutorial. I don't think it is. I think you just win by default every time. To start, each player draws 5 cards at the beginning of the game. At the start of a game, you may choose any number of cards from your hand to put them on the bottom of your deck and redraw that many cards. For this tutorial, select the mulligan Peeplum? Pleepem? Wow, this is bad. I don't even know how to pronounce this card. It's alright, I don't think I've ever actually played with that card. Okay, now the beginning is first turn, you always draw a card. So yeah, welcome to Vibes, guys. Very interesting game here. Basically, there's 2 types of resources in this game. There's fish, which you get by tapping your rods. Stuff that you play down here in the bottom row is your rods. Any card can be a rod, you just play it face down. There's a setting that you can do where you see them, because there's sometimes that you can like bounce rods from the rod zone back into your hand to play as a regular card later. So there's a setting in here that I changed to make it so that these are face up, but typically in your game, when you're playing physically, these would be face down, so your opponent can't see them. Nice job. You can play 1 rod return. Yeah, you can play 1 rod return. It produces fish when you flop it. This is the back side of the card. No, we can produce fish. Let's play flying penguin. So you use your fish to play the fish cost for different cards. Yep. What is this asking? Okay, yeah. Pass. The other resource in this game is Pudge, so you can tap your penguins for the Pudge that you see here in the lower left side. Different penguins produce different amounts sometimes. I think most of them produce 1 Pudge. There's some wizard penguins that produce 2 Pudge. There's a few cards that like change the effects so you can get different amounts of Pudge. But generally, ooh, I just realized my mic is all the way down here. Hopefully you guys could hear any of this. If not, I might have to re-record this. It's alright, I don't mind playing through the tutorial. It's a fun refresher. It's your opponent's turn, yep. So what's interesting about this game, and slightly different from something like MTG, is how your spells work. So everything runs at quote-unquote instant speed. You can interact with the stack. However, there's a certain time, so there's different phases in the turn. So you've got the phase where you can play your penguins and your rods, and then once both players have played that, then you both like move into the actions phase. Once you get to the actions phase, once you move to the actions phase, then you can both start playing your spells. Everything is, like I said, played at instant speed. There's no sorcery speed, but it is only during a certain slot. So it's not like you can, your opponent plays a penguin and you don't like it, you can't immediately ice that penguin. Ice is destroy in this game. You can't immediately destroy that penguin or ice it. You have to wait until the action time to play your thing to ice it. So it's very interesting. Runs at a bit of a slower pace, which honestly I like. It reminds me of like old school Magic when I first got into it, like probably 15 years ago. But it's a good time. I enjoy it. So, anyways, congratulations, you complete 1 cycle. Cycles contains both players' turns, actions, vibe checks. Yep. At the end of cycle, everything unflops and we start all over. So let's do it again. So I kind of skipped over it, wasn't really reading, but at the end of every round there's what's called the vibe check. The vibe is the indicator on the bottom right side of the penguin. So I have a penguin that was unflopped with 2 vibes and they didn't have any penguins, so I won the vibe check. When you win the vibe check, the top card of your deck goes into your rods. So I have 1 more rod. Essentially you ramp up if you win. If you lose, you draw an extra card. Most decks that I've seen actually want to lose a lot of the time. Just have more cards in hands because you have more options for playable stuff. And generally, from what I've seen, that's better than just ramping and have a bunch of fish. But there are a few decks that want to do a bunch of like big stuff they want to play. And if that's the case, then yeah, you probably do want to win the early vibe checks so you can ramp quick. Yep. This is kind of just going through what the individual card does whenever this penguin. Come on. Anyways, you look at the top card of your library. If it's yellow penguin, 5/2 or less, you get to play it. So, yeah, the tutorial just kind of honestly babies you through step by step. But if you have any experience with Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon really doesn't translate too well into something like this, but you'll understand a lot of the concepts going on. The only thing that only thing that I think that is probably the hardest part when you're getting into this game, if you're coming from something like Magic, which is where I'm come from, I'm traditionally a Magic player. Probably the biggest thing is just understanding how the stack works. In Magic. Okay, I gotta pay the pudge for the spell. So yeah, so here's the second resource I was talking about. Okay, it wants me to tap that one for whatever reason. Tapping in this game is called flopping. So you can see I just flopped 2 pudge to play the pudge cost for this spell. Does it let me? I guess it doesn't let me look at the. Or no, yeah. So this spell costs 2 pudge, so I just tapped my pudge cost to play the spell, targeting this guy to get another one from my deck. So yeah, it's kind of a 2 resource system. Fish is equal across the board. All your rods produce fish, and everything costs fish. That's a penguin, a permanent, I guess you could say. There's also like stuff like relics and locations. I think in the next set there's also something called Burbs. It's like an outside IP thing. But yeah, long story short, kind of anything there can be played. But then you've got different colors of pudge, and so that's where you get to different color decks. There's purple, red, green, yellow, blue, and then there's also some that are like all colors or 2 colors or different things like that. So it's pretty cool, the different stuff you can do. I haven't even talked about the winning conditions. So the point of this game, to win the game, you have to have 15 permanents on board and control the Baron. So as you can see, right now our opponent controls the Baron, because at the last vibe check they had a 4 and we only had a 2. And so there's different strategies. Like I said, a lot of times a lot of the decks that I've seen in like higher end competition, you actually want to lose the Baron until you have 15, and then you want to win the last round to have the Baron. And you actually don't need 15, you need 14, because you win the Baron. It checks to win the game at the beginning of your turn, so you win the Baron. Then because you won the Baron, you get the extra rod, so you go from 14 to 15, and then at the beginning of your turn, you win. So just keep that in mind. If you see your opponent with 14, you cannot afford to lose the Baron that round. So anyways, let's just breeze through the rest of this. He's going to buff his guy. Yep. It looks like I'm currently playing with the yellow starter deck, generally accepted as the stronger of the 2 starter decks. He's running green. There's a yellow, green, and then there's like an advanced starter decks that are, I think there's 1 red and 1 blue one. Generally, I think the yellow is considered the strongest. So I have a decent shot here, but I'm also running on how the tutorial is telling me to play, so we'll see how it goes. Okay, so here's a fun one. So different penguins have different effects. Some are when they enter, some are when they get iced. This one has the effect that you can flop it, not tap, flop. And let's see, choose penguin with 5/2 or less, ice that penguin, ice this penguin. Okay, so it sacrifices itself to ice something that your opponent has. But like I said, you can't actually do that until it gets to action. So right now we're in the phase where they played, rods, penguins, we played rods, penguins. So now we're going to pass into the action phase, action time. And so now, because he has the Baron, he gets priority on action. So let's see if he does anything. Choose a penguin and put 2 vibe counters on it. Okay, so see, this is where this can get interesting, because now we can flop our penguin to kill that penguin before this happens. So the interesting thing about this game, like I said, versus... okay, so yeah, so see, that's on the stack right now, this middle line. So we're gonna... Oh, okay, choose a penguin. You need to read more. Yep. So what's different about this game versus like Magic the Gathering is Magic, it's a last in, first out system, and this is the same. However, in Magic, you can say you'll cast a spell, your opponent casts a spell in reaction to your spell, you can react to that, or in response to that spell, you can do it again. But then after this spell resolves, right, and then this one's about to resolve, someone else at the table, if you're a Clan Commander, or they or you can respond to it. And so you can like go down and then back up on the stack and then down and kind of resolve and then build up again. In Vibes, it has to be all at once. So you can go boom, boom, like you do something, they do something, you do something. But then at the end of that, once the first one starts to resolve, all of it resolves. You cannot respond, you cannot react, nothing else can happen. Effects can be triggered in the middle of that, but you cannot play anything in response to it, which makes it a little bit interesting. You have to figure out exactly how the stack's going to resolve before you add something new to it, because you have to realize that you can't like undo or redo or add on later. Actually, one of the events I went to, I built a Vibes version of what I call Ruby Storm. If you're familiar with that deck in Magic. But it absolutely fizzled because I didn't understand the stack well enough, and so every time I tried to storm off on something, pieces, I would want something to resolve to a certain point so I could build back up on it, and then everything would resolve, and then like my combo just, it would fizzle almost every time. I think I got it to work once the entire day I was playing with that deck. So yeah, just something to be aware of if you are coming from Magic. The stack is different, and it can work to your advantage and it can work to your disadvantage, just depending on how you can react to it. Now you see here, if you look at the screen, this resolved. So this being shattered says that this spell is about to fizzle. And so what's also interesting about this game is if in Magic, so let's say in Magic you have a spell that targets two things, right? If one of those things gets killed, it still targets the other thing. In this one, if any portion of it gets broken, it all gets broken. So in this, if you have a spell that targets two things and they kill one of those things, your entire spell just fizzles. It just goes away, doesn't work. So spells are a little bit weaker in that sense. However, if you kind of go through and read some of the spells are absolutely crazy in this game, what they can do. Honestly, there's some penguins in this game that are crazy in what they do as well. So it's an interesting trade-off, the power of certain spells versus the, shall we say, flexibility of how you can use them. Anyways, okay, so here's a good point. I think I mentioned it earlier. He currently has a penguin with 6 vibes. However, it's flopped. Only unflopped penguins participate in vibe checks. So because I have a bunch of 2s here and he doesn't have any that are unflopped, I'm going to win the Baron. Yeah. So this is also cool about the app. It tracks how many permits you got. So he only got 4, I have 9. I'm going to assume that the AI I'm playing against is just like going super easy on me, because I don't think it makes that much sense for him to only have 4 permanents on whatever we on cycle 4. But who knows? Okay, so yeah, he's gonna win the Baron on this one for sure. So I don't have anything I can really do. I want to get 2 more rods out so I can play this thing. Yellow penguin in your huddle, yeah, that would make that huge. He's gonna buff this other one. Yeah, see, if I was playing a person, they'd probably buff this one to make it bigger. I guess spreading it out isn't too bad, since they don't actually know what's in my hand. Well, the AI probably, whatever pre-made thing that I'm facing probably knows what's in my hand. But if I was playing a real person, it wouldn't. Oh, here we go. Yeah, the one I said, this one can produce 2 pudge. A bunch of the wizards have those abilities. I think the downside, yeah, they just enter flopped, so you have to wait a turn. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next turn I'll be able to play one of these guys. and then I should just win, because I play 1, that'll get me to 14 permanents, and then I should win the vibe check. I don't think the green precon deck has a kill spell in it, so I don't think there's anything he could really do to stop me. I guess we'll find out when it gets to my turn, though. Also, another cool thing about these decks, like I said, it looks like we're playing with the yellow and the green precon here, respectively. If you actually go and play physically, a lot of SCG cons will have learn to play events, and what's cool about the IRL learn to play events is you get to keep the decks. Like you'll come, they'll give you a deck, it'll either be green or yellow precon deck, and you just straight up get to keep it. Like the decks are worth essentially the entrance fee, but then on top of that you get a promo card and you have a chance to win either prizes, or coins for like SCG. They do like the, not coins, but they call it the tickets for the SCGs. And so yeah, essentially like you essentially make money if you do learn to play events. I actually really like going to different SCGs and playing the learn to play events, just because I get to meet people who are just starting in the game, and they get to jam games afterwards. And like I said, you literally make money playing. The Orange Cap team has done a great job of funding their stuff. I don't know what I need to do here. Oh, I just need to hit pass. It's like, where's the tutorial telling me what to do next? Woohoo, we won! So like I said, we won the Baron. We had 15, we actually have 16 now, so we had overkill. Beginning of the turn, they check. I have the Baron, I have more than 15 permanents. That's victory. Congratulations! Oh, sweet. Cool. Let's see what deck I got. I assume it'd be the yellow one. Starter deck. Okay, so it looks like... Well, do I get both? I don't know. This is a new account. I had a personal account that I was running for a bit, but I just figured to start a new one since I'm starting this channel, and we can go from there. So yeah, that's Vibes. Like I said, it's a fun game. It's kind of similar to like old school Magic in that it's really, really simple to learn, but there's a lot of nuance of getting good at it, and kind of just discovering the little bits and pieces that make interactions work, and what cards are good and bad in certain matchups. So yeah, this YouTube channel will be available once a week. I'll be loading up a weekly video that shows 6 days worth of matchups. If you guys are on Twitch at all, I'll be streaming at 6 a.m. every day on Twitch except for Sundays, because I like to sleep in. But then, like I said, yeah, YouTube will also have copies of all the matches from those different days. I'll be exploring different themes every week. I think my first week I'm probably just going to be doing yellow starter deck, and then slowly like building it and modifying it. Another cool thing, if you do wind up going to one of those learn to play events, if you're lucky enough to flip a coin and get the yellow starter deck, you literally modify that deck and take out like 3 or 4 cards, and it's competitive. I've seen multiple in top 8 of different 10Ks all across the country. So good stuff. If you guys go to SCG Con, be sure to check out the Vibes table, and hey, maybe you'll even see me there and we can jam a game. What else? Let's see. Yeah, I think that's all I've got. But yeah, thanks for hanging out. If you're on Twitch, thanks for hanging out with me live this morning. If you're on YouTube, then thanks for hanging out with me in the future. All right, see ya.